Hello, friends, and welcome to the Optimized Advisor Podcast, where we focus on optimizing the well-being and best practices of insurance and financial professionals today. On this show, our objective is to help you optimize your life, optimize your profession, and learn from other optimized advisors. I'm your host, Scott Heinela. We hope you enjoy the show. Aaron Hoke, my man,
Yes,
AIM
sir.
Capital, president
Yes,
of
sir.
AIM Capital. Is that true? That's correct, right? The correct title?
Yeah, it's the title.
Are you guys
but I'm not
big
much
on
of a title
titles?
guy.
You're not.
Nah.
Neither am I.
I mean, you got to have a president, right, of a company, but I don't. I have, title guy, not really my cup. I don't really.
Aaron Hoke
Yeah.
with AIM Capital.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go. Somebody's got to
How
lead.
old are you
Somebody's
now?
got to lead.
How old
Somebody's
are
got
you
to
now?
take the blame for
That's
when
right.
things go wrong.
Everybody does.
How old am I?
Yeah.
47. Just turned it on Sunday.
We were just talking about that.
Just turned
Happy
it.
birthday to you.
Thank you.
I would serenade
Thank
you,
you.
but that would be torturous for anybody who is listening. So we'll avoid that.
Okay.
You said we were talking about this before. And I remember we were playing golf a few years ago, actually.
Uh-huh.
And you were like, Scott, when you turn 42, not 41,
You watch.
not 40.
You watch.
42.
You're not there yet, right? You're not there yet, are
No,
you?
I'm 42 now.
You're 42.
Yeah.
42 and a half was what's for me. So in about 6 more months. When did you turn 42 and a half?
So
It's a big difference because 42, it is literally like that.
I am.
42 and a half.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Try playing in a basketball game right now. Try
No.
playing in a sport where you got to use your legs at full capacity in a quick cutting movement.
Pull the mic
And
a
you'll
little
see
closer.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You'll see
Yeah,
exactly.
the agility.
It's lower body. It wasn't
And-
my upper body. It was my lower body. Yeah, just things start.
So we went to dinner last night too, and I found myself with the menu. You know, I was actually reading a bottle. It was a bottle, actually, the label. And I start doing
There it
this.
goes.
Right?
That's how it starts.
All I need to do is back up a little bit, though, and
Yeah.
I'm still good.
Yeah.
So you're saying that'll
I used to be able to do that.
until the arm becomes not long enough,
Yeah.
and now you got to get
That's what
glasses.
happens. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
happens.
You can kind of like, and it comes and goes in the beginning. So there's some days when you're just fine and you're looking at things, that's just fine. Then all of a sudden you'll hold your phone, you're like, dang. And go a little bit. And so over the next, it didn't happen actually to me till I was probably 45-ish, until I even saw any difference whatsoever. But I just decided, why fight it? I'm 47, I could put these glasses on and
You look distinguished. You are handsome
definition-
as all
I don't
get
know
out.
about, well, the distinguished. I bought these as
They're great.
staples. So I mean, maybe I need to invest in a nice pair of glasses at some point. But these
Indeed.
are just readers.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Good.
1X.
Thanks for coming in. Spend a
bet.
little time with us.
You bet, bud. You
This
bet.
is fun. All right. Let's go back to the beginning.
Our
In your
beginning,
journey.
because it's been a while since you and I met. But the beginning of Aaron's beginning.
Yeah. No, this isn't about me and you.
Okay.
This is more about you and AIM Capital. So
Right on.
you're here today
Yeah.
because I would classify you as an optimized advisor.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Who's living and breathing through the challenges, trials of growing a business and persevering in what is such a rewarding business, but also so challenging. And as you get more and more advanced in your career, and now I'm going to classify you as president of AIM Capital, and you've got many, many agents and relationships and hierarchies and drama and recruiting, and there's so much that goes with that. However, there was a beginning with your stepdad, right?
Sure.
Who was,
Yeah.
So just give me a quick.
quick.
Give everybody a quick history of
Yeah,
him.
yeah. I actually I wanted to be a general contractor, and I actually got my general contractor's license. So
Was that because of your dad?
My dad, yeah. So I
Right.
grew up, I just love construction. In fact, if I were to win the lottery tomorrow, and you might want to edit this out, but I probably wouldn't be an optimized advisor. I'd probably get into construction, remodeling. If I didn't have to work and just what I love to do, it's I love construction. I love the facets of it, the creativity of it, the building, the construction. I love the immediate gratification you get when you build something. And so I grew up, and I love the grind, the hard work. I love getting tired. I love getting sore back. And so I always enjoyed that part. Grew up, my dad is a general contractor, my father. Worked for him in the summer times. And so after I served a mission, for our church, went down to South America for a couple of years, got back, and as I started to think about what I wanted to do for a
So
career.
how old were you then?
I was 21.
Post-mission.
21.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's straight, pretty much the year after graduating high school.
That's
you
it.
tear off in the mid. Yeah.
Yep,
okay.
yep. Went to year college, went on a mission, came back. I was 21, and at first I thought I wanted to be a physical therapist, and then I went to college, all the ology classes, zoology, microbiology, and I was like, this is not me. And started doing these jobs. I was in Utah, and I handed out all these flyers all over the city. No job too small, handyman, Aaron Hoke. And at the time, there was no internet. 1995, 96. So I would go to a house and a person would call me, hey, I want you to come over and do you know how to lay wood floors? Didn't matter what they asked me, the answer was always yes. Yes, no matter what. And even though I really didn't know how to do much at all. And so I'd go over there, they would show me the job. I would just, the best I could, write it down on a paper, and then like what the job was, I'd measure it out, and I would go to the bookstore at Brigham Young University, the library, and I would get a how-to book. How to do this, how to lay wood parquet floor, how to fix a broken pipe, how to put tile, whatever. I would read, they had these how-to books, and then from there, I would write down the materials I would need. I would go to Home Depot, price it out. I would try to guess how long it would take me, and then from there, I would
give them a bid.
Give them a bid. Almost always got it, and made lots of mistakes along the way, but it was great. And that's where I just kind of continued on into construction. Thought, hey, this is the path for me.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I was doing a job.
You didn't do construction at
No,
all?
you know what? I actually did. I was in Utah at the time and did I had more money than all my friends, I kind of got out of school a little bit and started doing all these little jobs. And then I was talking to my father about becoming a general contractor. And he said, well, you gotta know a little bit about everything. So then I took a job with a footings and foundation guy. And I worked for him for like 3 or 4 months just to kind of get an idea of what that was about. Then I worked for a framer. And I worked for a roofer, and I worked for a plumber, and I worked for these different trades in the construction industry. Came back to California, got married, and then I got my general contractor's license.
Interesting.
And I had that, and I was doing a job, a small one, just down the street from where my stepfather, who ran this insurance agency.
Frank,
who, by the way, always kind of wanted me to work in that business. Never saw myself doing that. Never saw myself dressed like you are today, Scott, just sitting at a desk and
he wanted you to work in his business.
Absolutely. Yeah. And he must have saw, I even my parents were divorced when I was young, grew up in Frank's house. And so he must have seen in me what he thought would be successful there. But fast forward, I was doing a job down the street, a construction job, and I came by to say hi one day. And it happened to be the day that Hartford Life had just emailed to him or sent to him, faxed to him, all of the bonuses for all of his life insurance reps that day. And they were $36,000, the bonuses.
Right.
$42,000, $22,000, whatever, these big tens of thousands of dollars in bonuses. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was 23 at the time. And he's like, I've been trying to tell you. And I'm like, well, you figure this out. And so a couple months later, I decided to do that.
Wow.
And
then you started out hard driving as an agent.
Yeah, just getting leads and selling and working and going to people's houses and meeting with them. And I always enjoyed that. I've always enjoyed talking with people, meeting people, being around people. Learned those skills when I served a mission down in South America, Chile, and learned the language. But you're just constantly with people every day, new people. And so I was super comfortable talking with people. Loved a good challenge, and that presented itself. And I had just gotten married, and so the future was just wide open to me and my new wife. And so we decided to take a plunge. And I remember literally at church on Sundays, managing my checkbook, $74 in our checking account combined, and but just being like, it's okay, hon, I got a check coming this week, and you just getting after it, figuring things out.
So AIM, predominantly life insurance agency.
Yes.
Focused specifically in the mortgage term space.
That's our niche. It's our niche. Not mortgage term, but just mortgage. We would market life insurance as a mortgage protection plan to pay off a person's house if they die.
And historically, all through direct mail.
Yeah.
So as you sit here today,
still.
Okay. So what's the weekly mailing amount for AIM today?
You know what? In the office that I run, which
or
is the
monthly,
Anaheim,
whatever your what is the metric?
Do 10,000 a week is what I mail out, not including our other sub managers, Ryan and Cameron and everybody, but in our office, 10,000 letters per week, and we'll get not even quite 1% return, but we'll get those back, and that keeps us going. That little niche, just who would have thought?
So, not asking anybody to divulge their secret sauce. I don't know if there is any secret sauce, but so clearly because of the decade. So AIM has been around for 40 plus years. Is it 50?
1964. So almost 60 years.
Almost 60 years. Okay. And so in that, you obviously have a number of resources in terms of intel and data, and you've identified certain markets that respond better to direct mail or not.
Yeah, you'd think. We're not really a data company. I mean, you'd think we'd have a whole team that would be analyzing all of that stuff. About the only data I know is we get about a 0.8% return on our mailers.
Doesn't matter where it is.
Yeah,
some places better than others, but
more rural. You're going to get a better, higher response rate than the big city. You got a little more competition. You got a little bit more, in downtown city areas, white collar areas, you're going to get a little bit lower response rates. Blue collar demographics, it's higher, which is great for us because they don't have all their financial planners and everybody that they're turning to. So they'll send those back.
So the structure within the organization, has it changed over time?
Not really.
Okay, so we've got agents, and then we have managers.
Yeah.
And managers are based in specific areas in the country.
Yeah. We've always protected that too. Yeah, we've kind of tried to make sure that agents don't get stepped on. So we have different territories we mail out to, and it's worked. It's worked well for a lot of years, and that structure really hasn't changed.
So what is the form, if you could share?
I have no secret sauce. You bet, I'll say anything.
So share some things that you've determined over the years that, this is what works and what works best.
Consistency. Like I'm actually I don't believe in any, there might be secret formulas to this, that, and the other, but no great plan works, right, Scotty, unless you work it. And our plan, we've been either the top two agencies for these major insurance carriers for my whole career at least. Yeah. And even before I came, I know AIM was a top carrier, a top agency. Excuse me. But we've got a consistency and just working, just putting our plan in place. And I don't know that it's any particular secret plan other than it is really to getting after it every day and having that mindset of, I've never ever thought about failure. Never. It never crossed my mind when I was a new agent. Even when there was 74 bucks, I never feared. I can't say never, but I can't think of a moment I feared failure. So that wasn't really my motivating word, failure. It was, if this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Okay, that way didn't happen. Okay, how about this way? Let's try this way. Yeah. So I think looking at life that way, it's not in me. I don't know. I grew up with 6 boys in my home. I fought, competed. I'm the oldest of these 6 boys. I just never thought about failing.
Wait, you're older than Chris too?
I'm older than Chris, yeah.
You are?
Chris is about 18 months.
I didn't know that.
16 months.
Okay, so it was you, then Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Mm-hmm. Then Ryan?
Then Ryan.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ryan.
So let's flip the coin over for a minute. What things have you done in your career or seen in your career that have been tested, tried, toyed with that didn't work? Anything?
Tested, tried that did not work. Sure. We tried one time. We tried hiring. I know AIM tried to send out some of these managers, leaders, that were agency managers here in the Anaheim office and send them off to different states to open up offices. That did not work very well. And that actually was in the works and started while I was starting at the company, and there were a few of these individuals that left. It's called the mothership of the Anaheim office with Frank, and didn't pan out very well. And I don't know for what reason. Either they just didn't have the tenacity or the mindset or the ability to run things, but it didn't work out.
So let's focus on that a little bit.
So we brought those back.
Let's give some people some perspective in terms of what AIM does on an annual basis in terms of whatever the numbers how many apps do you guys think you process in a year? What's the premium that you do in a year? How many agents do you have? Give us a 10,000-foot overview of what we're dealing with, what we're looking at.
That's changed a little bit because we've got partnerships with some outside agencies, but Franklin never did that much. When we were a time when we were getting unlimited leads, we could grow more within the agency.
Organically.
Yeah. When 2007, 2008, something changed, and just as maybe the internet took a bigger role, our people weren't looking, mail became more distracting. Our return rate came down, and so we can't get as many leads as we did back in those days. And so we've got partnerships, different agencies that we bring in and work with, and those are great. All Merits being one of them. Just great partners in that sense. Got several of those. But as far as growing it out, we've always just tried to. One thing I loved about our business is that when nobody can take somebody else's spot, right? So like in a company where you're working in an organization or a corporation, there might be people that are nervous about training those beneath them in fear of them taking their position, of them being let go, and now this up-and-coming stud, whether it be a woman or a man, could take their spot in a leadership spot. Well, that's never been the case at AIM. Never. So the way we grow it out is that, you can't, as an agent, it's very selfless. We don't get paid until the agent gets paid. So we do not get any sort of salary or stipend or anything in addition to that. And unless the agent gets paid, we don't get paid. So I've always loved that part about the way the AIM is set up. Very protective, and that's been something from the very beginning as far as territories, and that's just never been wavered. So we have agents that might not like the way that a manager works with him. We're not going to go in and just take that agent from the manager. And on the flip side, the manager can give it his all or her all, because that agent cannot take their spot as a manager. Just help the overall agency grow. So a lot of selflessness going on because you're not worried about losing your job to somebody, some up-and-comer.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah,
love that.
The one part I think we can talk a little bit about is the difference between, so take, for example, going back to when AIM said, okay, we're going to allow these agents who are successful agents go out and become regional manager out on their own, spread their wings a little bit, right? Some autonomy, some independence. Well, there's a dramatic difference between being a regional manager, i.e. running a small office, a branch office of AIM, versus being very focused in receive leads, know my process, make sales, help people with their life insurance, right? And being an agent.
Yeah.
Let's take capital,
Definitely.
cash management, capital management. Leads is the lifeblood of your organization.
Sure.
So leads cost money. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They
right?
do.
So I would imagine part of it was just the mismanagement or the difference of understanding. There's a huge difference between becoming a great producer or being a great producer and actually running a business. And that's what they were thrust into, right?
Yeah, I would never say you thrust into might be a heavy word, because they want to grow, you want them to grow, and the agency. There was a book by John C. Maxwell years ago, and it was I can't remember the title of it right now, but there was the laws, the different laws of leadership. I think it might have been called, but one of the laws was the law of explosive growth.
Danielle can look that up. John C. Maxwell.
John C. Maxwell, and I think it might have been the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, and one of the laws was the law of explosive growth. I loved this guy. This guy actually read all of his books, resonated with myself, and in this law it talks about, hey, you could hire and bring on a follower, right, one at a time, and you'll grow. But if you lead leaders, you'll have explosive growth. And so I always wanted, and that resonated with myself. I didn't want to be the only leader, and I felt our agency can grow exponentially if we would train and lead leaders. And so that became important to me. The office, brick and mortar shops in different states, as I saw that kind of not working out well, we could talk about this a different day, but we opened up and came up with that idea of having traveling agents.
Right.
And by doing that, we were able to get leads in different states, but keep everything in-house. So the leaders would stay in the home office here in Anaheim. So if there were challenges or agents were giving them a hard time, they had the support of AIM, but at the same time, we can grow because we could get leads in different states. So instead of moving there and having an office there, we would just send agents out traveling there. They would work and set appointments in Anaheim and travel out to these different states and run leads. And so that became great because when we were capped on leads in the Anaheim office, right, we couldn't promote anybody or give anybody more opportunities to grow and become a manager of an agency because we had no more leads to give them.
Right.
And so that was a huge breakthrough for us to be able to have these agents travel. And that opened up doors for like Ryan and Cameron and these different Peter Hernandez to build agencies up.
Right.
And it's been super successful. And we still do that to this day. Have agents every week or traveling out somewhere. Usually West Coast for the most part. We don't venture out too far.
Yeah.
But that worked out great for us. That worked out great.
In the midst of all of this environment we find ourselves in, have you experienced hiring a challenge? Comparatively,
just the last year, just the last 6 months, really. But we changed one word, and it seemed we're getting responses again. It was a challenge to get people to even respond to an ad that we've never had a challenge for. I mean, recruiting has never been a challenge for us. Getting people in and selling them on that dream that we present here at AIM has never been a challenge. That being said, we were finding it difficult, and the few that would respond wouldn't show up to even the first interview. And so I was driving to the river actually about, 3 months ago, and I was driving and I was scrolling through the headlines on my phone. You get on the 10, there's no cars around yet. Right. And one of the headlines was like, hey, 54% of everybody working remotely says they don't want to go back to the office even after pandemic. I'm like, what? So I was reading through that article, and it basically said that people just don't want to go back to a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday type of a scenario. So I got back and I was reading that article and a bunch of other ones. We got back and all we did was change the word work remotely, sell life insurance remotely. And people started responding. And even though once we hire them, they realize, hey, it's better to come into the office. But there was that
because historically, your structure has been home office, agents in the home office, and or traveling agents who are kitchen table, right? I mean, your sales are predominantly done kitchen table.
Yeah, which is different than the way the industry's heading.
Still to this day.
Still to this day, yeah. Most agencies don't have the office that we have. Most of their agents, you get an IMO or BGO or even an agency, they all work out of their homes.
Right.
They all work out of their home. Kind of similar to what you guys have here. You're an agency for all intents and purposes, but doing different types of products, emphasis. But AIM's got that office. We have that office. We still have 35 desks in there and 12 office spaces, and we've always kind of just kept that more retail in that sense.
Now, in the midst of this, you've had, I'm sure, agents try virtual remote selling life insurance.
Worked last year. And worked great.
It did.
Yeah, last year. Worked great.
And then not.
Interesting. People are tired. Yeah, they don't want to, last year was great. We had agents with record years, several of them. Some could not figure it out for sure.
Right, okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Some could not figure it out, yeah. And I don't know if it wasn't a matter of not figuring it out or just being lazy, flat out lazy, starting to get stimulus checks and money. And we had agents that stopped working because they were getting free money. But those that really focused on having a good Zoom appointment or having a platform and doing that, they did great. We had record years for some of our sales reps. Now, as people are getting back out there, and last year we had to. We were locked down. People weren't going to work. It was expected. It was something that was new, and everybody was in that frame of mind.
Yeah.
It's different now. People don't keep their appointments.
Things are opening up.
Yeah. They don't want to do a Zoom appointment. Yeah. And I'm not saying they necessarily in their mind want to meet with somebody in person, but they're not keeping their appointment.
We're
exhausted with that.
We are.
And so some of our agents that thought that they would just be able to do that, as I did at one point, for the rest of our careers, is going to be great. We're seeing that that's not the case.
Yeah, see, that's huge. You thought you were seeing that it could be a permanent shift.
Yeah. Didn't you? I think we all did at some point. Yeah, that's good. You heard it all over the news, man. This is the future. This is the new normal. This is how we're going to do business. And it got exciting a little bit because that would allow us to grow even bigger because we could do these anywhere in the country and not send out traveling agents anywhere. But it's just not.
It's interesting how at the end of the day, we're still humans, and humans have this
Interaction.
need to have social interaction. It's
great.
We cannot be socially isolated.
Thank goodness, right?
Thank the Lord.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
That's
100%, absolutely. So
that's not the
when
case.
did Frank drive off into the sunset? When was that?
December 31st, 2016.
And I can remember, for how many years did you want that to happen?
You know what?
Two. I would say there, in fairness, no. So let me disclaim.
Yeah.
Before we.
Did I want him to leave? Like I didn't like to be around him? No.
To me,
was I
from
anxious
a
for that
positive,
situation and opportunity? Yes. Yeah.
I would say the opportunity of saying I am ready for this.
Yeah.
I have been prepped for this, and it's kind of like the racehorse ready to go.
Yeah.
Open the gate. Let me get at this and get after it. And we've had some brief conversation a little bit about, in a good way. It's like you got to be in life. Everybody, I think, could learn a very valuable lesson of be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
And understand the validity and the seriousness of certain life changes that people either are pursuing or thrust to them, whatever the reason may be, and then accepting those adjustments along the way. And clearly, I think there's been some wonderful blessings that have been provided by him retiring, and also some challenges along the way.
Yeah. Looking back at it, I think him working those he came to me in fact, he came to me in 2012. So 2012, we were with Hartford Life.
And I would interject the dearest of respect.
Of course. Yeah, we're just talking. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he knows how I feel about him. And I've had many conversations with him since he's retired about the position and the weight. There's a weight. There's a weight because it's no longer, I don't look at Tyson grow and think I've got to help Tyson make an income. I got to provide opportunities for Tyson. I look at Tyson grow and I think I've got to come up with opportunities for him to provide I see a family. There's a family there. There's not just Tyson. And I look at these agents and the weight is not just, at least for me, the weight is not just that agent. It's that man has a family. That woman,
his life. He's got goals,
their livelihood, Sherry,
aspirations.
Vasuka, they've got to provide. If they don't have opportunities, if I do not provide opportunity, if I don't figure out a way to get these people, these agents opportunities to sell, even though the country's locked us down, they're not going to be. They've got kids. They're not going to be able to feed their families, and so there is that weight of not just one individual, a 38-year-old man. The way I look at everybody is there are families there. And that was heavy for me. Looking back on this, I'll just quickly say on the thing about Frank, was always anxious for that opportunity. I was making a good living even while he was there. I was in a good space, and had that not changed, I would have had a good living. But I was
you were a manager,
anxious.
You had a team.
Yeah.
What's not to want?
That's not the one. Yeah. And he paid for everything there. He paid for the office.
Right.
And which I've found since then, that's real.
Yeah.
And but I think those extra 2 years too, he came to me right after Hartford. So Hartford, we had been with Hartford Life for 30 plus years. And they came out in 2012 out of really nowhere and just said, we're getting
done.
out of the life insurance side of insurance. And that rocked us.
Subsidizing leads.
Subsidizing a huge part. I mean, we're not a captive. We're not career agents with a specific special agents with a carrier, but we really kind of just hitch our wagon to one carrier in particular. We're not an agency that submits our business and spreads it all over the world.
Right.
And so we were primarily with Hartford Life, and there was no warning. There was no indication that they were planning on getting out. It was, in fact, the day that we heard about it, this is crazy. We had a lady out, a consultant that was referred by Hartford Life that had been out. We had met at a previous leadership conference, and she was out with me that morning in my office, planning out for the next 3 or 4 years how to grow out the business. We went to lunch, and when we came back from lunch, my dad said, "Have you checked your email?" I'm like, "No, check your email." And it was an email saying, effective tomorrow, and this was January 5th or 6th. 2012. Effective tomorrow at 12 p.m., your contract will be terminated with Hartford Life.
Rocked your
It was
world.
unbelievable.
Rocked your world.
Patty's like, I think I'll go now. I don't know what to do. And so she left. It rocked everybody. We didn't, at that moment, because we were so engaged with Hartford Life, not sure where our future lied, didn't know. That was the real first challenge for me as a professional in my career.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, man, I walked outside and cried a little bit. I had all the agents, everybody was getting that email at the same time. And aside from Frank, there was no other leader above me.
Yeah.
And everybody in the office, to some degree or another, was in my 8 down line, and they all looked to me. And that was a tough day, tough couple of days.
Because at that point in time, you're running, I mean, even today, you're running 10,000 a week, but even you as a manager were running how many leads or mailers a week? And
thousands, and had lots of agents.
And heavily subsidized by the cost of that. So what does a 10,000 mailers run back then a week? You know, meaning we're no longer getting this provided by us. How do I shift immediately to this huge
It wasn't even that, though. In the moment, I was like, this whole thing just ended.
Right. It was game over.
It was game over. Like this lifestyle, this livelihood, this agency. Again, I've not gone through any of those challenges before. It was, oh my gosh, this is over.
Yeah.
And that was my immediate feeling. I couldn't have my agents know that, so I walked out. I left, and kind of just internalized that. Since then, and shortly thereafter.
How long did that turbulence last before it was like, okay, we're hitting our stride again. We found our new distribution partner. Here we are.
Well, here's what happened. So later on,
what'd you
that
learn
next
from
day, I learned a lot. First of all, it changed my world in the sense that I became a little bit smarter with my money. And I thought, hey, I was a kid that I don't have any debt now. I don't borrow money to buy leads. I never have. I'm not a big guy. I don't get into debt. I have a house mortgage. But I pay my cars off usually. But at that moment, I thought I was a kid that spent every penny I made.
Yeah, because I'll always make more.
I'll just keep on making
sell.
Every week.
I'm a heck of a salesperson.
I remember sitting in my bed at night with my wife saying, honey, we are set. I was, how old was I? 2012. I don't even know, 10 years ago. So I was 36, 37, saying, honey, we are set for the rest of our lives. We got Hartford giving us subsidizing leads. We got these great sales trips every year. They're coming in.
Every Monday I get a stack of new leads.
You hear about these families that struggle and lose their homes and they're broke and they need, and I just thought, we're never going to have that challenge. Now, what happened the next day, thankfully we realized, we found out that Hartford, it wasn't going to be immediately, and they were just reassigning our agent numbers with a different channel. So we were still able to sell, and we learned about how the board of directors were going to sell off and break off Hartford, the life division, from the P&C side, and I later learned the details, and it ended up being okay. But mentally, Scotty, my life changed mentally in that moment. That still has never changed. What I realized is that you need to prepare for the unknown, and as confident as I am in myself, and man, there's nobody that can stop me from working or doing what I want to do. Like nobody. And I feel like if I apply enough force, I can make something happen. But in that moment, I realized that I needed to approach life differently in a way to where I just needed to be prepared financially. I had children at this time, and it just changed my paradigm.
Yeah,
changed my paradigm a little bit. Now we found out, we know it was great though, and all of that. And I can honestly say I think we're in a better spot now than we were then. Is that we understood, and I understood what we are as an agency. We sell life insurance. We market it as mortgage protection. That we weren't who we were because of Hartford Life. We were who we were because of how we ran our agency. And so it was actually, it got to a point to where I realized, hey, we sell life insurance. We're a life insurance agency. We market as mortgage protection. Yeah, we're going to have to try to figure out how to get the leads and do our own mailers, but we can do that with any carrier.
Right.
Let's go find one that's fitting for our middle America market. So that worked out great. And even if that happened today, there's these rumors and AIG Life's going to be splitting off from AIG. The AIG's announced they're getting rid of their life insurance. They want to break off their whole life insurance division from the conglomerate, AIG.
Right.
They want to be just property and casualty, right?
Yeah.
And
but through that lesson and that journey,
not as afraid.
we now know our true colors.
Yeah.
We know who we are.
Yeah.
We know the rules that we play by.
Yeah.
Carriers will ebb and flow.
Yep.
That's just a fact of our industry.
Yep.
And that's great.
It was great.
Wonderful. It's
Grew
a
up
great
a lot.
partnership.
Yeah.
Until the partnership is no longer.
Right.
And
Yeah.
sometimes that's the agent's decision. Sometimes that's the insurance company's decision. But if you know your process and you stick to that, here you are.
Absolutely. No, yeah. So when we got that news about AIG, my first wasn't, hey, I'm going to go outside and cry. It was, hey, we're going to be okay.
Right.
We'll be okay. We'll
Yeah.
be okay. We're buying our own leads.
Yeah.
I mean, Hartford, Bud, they would, not only did they subsidize them, they did all the mailers. All we would do is, hey, I want to get 20 leads a week in Atlanta. Okay. And they would do everything else for us, you know? So we had to learn how to make sure and manage those mailers and get the information, the data, and how to coordinate that. But once you got that,
Yeah.
it's just
Now,
being
the other-
consistent with those mailers is key.
So the other thing I want to talk to you about, which is just the scarcity of time.
Yeah.
And you are an over energetic person on life and committed to helping people, I think. And we've talked a little bit about this and how you kind of get yourself spread a little thin, and being aware of that is step one.
Yeah.
But the other part of that, to take a step back for a moment, is, as now in your current role, right? I would imagine so what does your schedule look like? How has it changed from your previous role of being just a manager, if you will? And how do you manage time?
I'm not great at it.
Right.
I'm not great at it. I never have been great at it.
I think very few people are.
Yeah, I'm
But
not
that's
great
part of
at
the
it. And the
conversation.
reason why is because I think, I was driving back from Utah one time, and I was a new manager, and it was interesting. When I was a sales rep, I wanted to learn everything about sales. When I became a manager, I wanted to learn everything about leadership. And so those were all my books. And I'll never forget, I was driving down, that long stretch right before you come in. You're coming from the north into Las Vegas, and I was listening to a Zig Ziglar tape, and he made the comment, you'll always get what you want as long as you help enough people get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
You'll always get what you want as long as you help. And I thought about that. Athletes, movie stars, these people that are wealthy, they provide entertainment to us. Enough people get that satisfaction, the entertainment, the love of sports. And so I do. I love people. I love people. I have a sensitive heart towards people too. Where I'm not all business when it comes to leads and agents not performing at first. I try to be very understanding and second chances and third chances and fourth chances. And I finally get to a point of I feel like I want it more for that agent than that agent wants for themselves. Then I need to start separating myself from the scenario. But
Right.
So
So
I've
it goes
always
back to
loved
that principle of, if I continue to apply enough force in the right way, we will figure this out.
We'll figure it out. I never have doubted that. I've never doubted that. I really, really don't.
But now you have your own personal interests. You're an avid golfer, right? You've obviously
I love to golf.
you have a wonderful family. You take vacations.
Oh, yeah.
You're very involved in church.
Yeah.
You're helping run a business.
Yeah.
You
Insane.
maintain some level of fitness.
Yeah.
You get asked by people like us to go on trips
Yeah.
that pull you away from your family.
Yeah.
So how
Which
do
I
we?
love.
This is the challenge of no. When do we decide that I have to pass on this?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to say yes.
Yeah.
And we inherently want to say yes. In a perfect world, I wish there was 28 hours in a day. But there isn't.
Uh-huh.
So how do we be more effective in managing
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. You've heard before, and this is the truth. I love to live life. Like it's hard for me. I'm not a no guy. I'm a yes man.
Right.
I'm a yes man. Like I think that's
To a fault.
to a fault. But
Yeah.
you know what though? I think that being a no man really is a shame, quite honestly.
Worse.
Yeah, I
Right.
think that when a person just says no to everything, life is so fun and so great and so many different opportunities that I like to say yes. I like to say yes and just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. I was a little bit late today because I literally was on the phone with our home warranty because our AC unit broke down at the River House. But then I was getting a text from May Grove, and I was looking through an email that Danielle had sent me.
One of your agents.
And I didn't know where I was going. I knew it was down in South County. I didn't realize that was at your office. I would have gone off at the exit. So there's just, it's never not busy like that.
Yeah.
You know, which I actually thrive on that. What the difference is.
So it's never clean.
Never clean. What the difference is that now at 47, my body just stops. Where at 27, I just could go and go and go.
No
and
issues.
Go. No issues. And
So
so
would
now
you
my body
say
tells me stop.
You're comfortable with organized chaos?
I love chaos. Doesn't even have to be organized. I just love to go.
Well, I think it's the abstract word of like, for you, chaos is organized.
Yeah. Yeah.
The opposite would not be. It
Yeah.
would be, this is very out of body, strange experience for me.
Yeah. I walk into our office, we've got TVs everywhere. And I always, when I walk in, they're not on. I'm like, Tina, turn the TVs on. Get the news on. Get the business on there. I just want
Buzz.
action. Action. Just
Yeah.
that. Like, let's see some live action. Let's be in the middle of it, you know? And I love
So
that.
are you unique that way in your family?
You know, my brother Chris is a lot like that.
I mean, in your home.
Oh, in my home for
Like
sure.
wife. Did your wife?
No. Complete opposite.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
Complete opposite.
So there's where you find balance, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got kids that I don't live to work. I work to live. Like, I don't wake up every day and, man, I just want to work and work and work and work. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I'd never miss a kid's game. Never. I'll never miss a play, a game. I do have, so like, I won't sacrifice my family's life for work.
Right.
Never.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you're right. I serve in my church. I got a lot of hours every week that I put into that, and I got to remember I'm a husband.
Yeah.
You know, and I have a wife that I need to just remind and make sure that she knows how much I care about her, and that can get lost. At times, I'm always aware of I don't want to be so busy in life and helping out at church and at work and everywhere else, and then give my kids the leftovers. You know,
Right.
That's easy to do, and so I'm aware of that. And I'm very good. I think if there's one skill, I'm very good at self-analyzation and not blaming other people for my success or failure, like lack of thereof. I never really be like, oh, it's your fault why I'm not succeeding. I think that's that's not. When you start going down that road and blaming others for why you don't have things or why you don't have a good relationship or why you don't make enough money or why you're overweight, that's I don't think that's the right way to approach it, but that's just, I don't want
to. Not playing the blame game. It's being self-reflective and truly honest with yourself of, why am I overweight?
Yeah.
Usually the answer is pretty simple. Why am I not making enough money? If we're being true to ourselves, the answer is usually pretty simple.
Yeah.
So then it becomes, okay, am I at peace with the blessings that I am provided in exchange for not making more money, as an example? And these are the exercises I think people can go through.
Yeah.
It's always easy to say, I want this, I'm more of this, more of that. But at the same time, you then need to ask yourself,
what cost?
At what cost?
You and I talk about this.
Right.
We talk about this. There are people that make more money than you and I, a lot of more money than you and I. And there are enough stories where these individuals, to get to that level of income or notoriety, they give up. They don't have relationships with their children.
Right.
They get divorced.
Yeah.
You know, they have no family life. They give it all. That is not
their health wanes.
Anything that I would
whatever
ever,
it is. It could be 100 different things.
Yeah,
right?
I just mostly family to me. I would.
Do you and your wife have anything in particular that you do that you stick to, like date nights or?
Absolutely,
you do.
Every weekend since we've been married, date night. That is religious. Even during the pandemic, yeah. Every weekend we go out on dates. I love to. That time is critical. Like we weren't raised the same. We don't see, even now. I grew up in a house with a bunch of athletes, 6 boys, competitive, fight every day,
competitive.
Super competitive. She didn't, and so
physical fights. Did you all get in physical fights?
Me and my brother Chris on the daily. Yeah,
really?
On the daily. Oh yeah. I don't know if we have time for talking about our fight. No. I mean, like, yeah. In fact, Chris and I would fight every day. Now he's my best friend. I mean, we talk and text and. Oh man, I love him. And I'll never forget the last fight we got in, though. The last fight, I had gone off to college, and I was strong, man. I was lifting weights and strong. I was a year and a half older than him. I went off to college, and I'd come back, and he, at that point, was a junior in high school and kind of a college prospect. Chris was never, I mean, like, he wasn't some football prodigy that everybody was looking at in Pop Warner. He didn't even play at Pop Warner. Got into high school. He was just an overweight kid, freshman and sophomore. I went off to school. He came back, and Chris was starting to develop into this individual. A man. Yeah. And the fighting part was we never would punch each other in the face. So we would never cross that line. We'd fight every day, but it was wrestling and elbow in the neck and whatever, but never punching in the face. And I got back and I had loaned Chris that week $20. $20 for something. Well, the weekend came, and I needed that $20 back, and I didn't have any money, and I went up in his room and grabbed it. I'd gone up there, there's $20 there. So I grabbed it. Well, he came back, he needed that $20. And so this was a problem. Because even though he owed me $20, he needed that $20. There was no like, you need to pay me back by Friday, but we both needed that $20, and so we got into it. And it was into it. And then they had my little brother Ryan, who was out here, I think, in the past. Ryan was a little runt, so he was in between us two bigger brothers trying to break us up. I'll never forget that.
He was trying to be Switzerland.
Oh, my gosh. And we were getting after it. We fell down onto my bed, and Chris was on top of me at this moment. And I'll never forget, at this point, just taking my hands and just trying to move him off of me. And I could not even move him an inch. And I was strong. And I was like,
you were done.
And I couldn't move him. And I thought, oh my goodness. So what I did is I just took my thumb and I jammed it into his eye. Just like, I thought, I'll get him off of me, you know? And he came off and he was bleeding from his eye. My brother Ryan was like, you guys knock it off. That was our last fight.
That was the last fight.
I realized I can't beat this guy anymore. And so that was it. It did take me twice. And I think that's something, you know.
Another life lesson.
I don't know if this is something I want to admit on Optimize Advisor podcast. I'm not a college-educated individual. I don't have my bachelor's, my master's. I don't even have an AA. Right. But you said something earlier, the simplest solution. And I've learned this term in the last little bit that's kind of, have you ever heard of Occam's razor? Have you heard of that before?
No.
Occam's razor. And I might be blistering the definition, but Occam was this guy.
You could pull it up.
Long back in the day. I can't remember his first name, but Occam's razor is the theory that almost in every scenario, every problem, every challenge, the simplest solution is usually the right solution. You know, it's usually the right solution. It's the simplest solution. I've always felt like I've been a pretty common sense individual. Yeah. And I think that's helped out a lot. Just like you look at things in a commonsensical way. And I never even heard of that term Occam's razor until recently. Yeah. But I think that's how I've always lived my life. I do that even now. I try to be pretty common sense about things and live my life in a way where, am I hurting this individual? Am I not hurting this individual?
Would you say you're pretty quick to make decisions?
Super quick, maybe too quick.
But then when you do, you are all in.
I am. I get all in.
And not that you don't change your mind.
Yeah.
Because obviously you do.
Yeah. I'm decisive in that sense. I don't take a long time to make decisions.
And you are
super spontaneous, and that gets me in trouble sometimes. But for the most part, I think I've been okay with it. Because I do realize when my dad said something to us kids when we were younger that I've taught now to my kids. And if you can kind of think about this quote in the sense of just loving life in general and being a boy when I was young, and I love anything that life has to offer now, I love to be a part of it. But he said to us one time, we were at a family camp, and we were on this big field, and we were throwing water, like playing catch with water balloons. Well, we'd go further back and further back. Now we're launching water balloons over families that were on their blankets, and we were just kind of trying to throw as far as we can and catch these water balloons. Well, they started to break around families, and it got back to my dad, and so he brought all of his boys over here, and he said, Aaron, Chris, right. He said, I'm cool that you guys are having a great time out there. Have fun until you ruin somebody else's fun.
Right.
You know, have fun till you ruin someone else's fun. And I try to live by that as much as I can. Have as much fun as I can without ruining the fun of somebody else.
Right.
You know. And so I have fun. We have fun in this as an agent. I love coming to work and being around agents. That's what I love about. I love the challenge of it. I love being around agents every day. I love coming to the office and being around people. I couldn't be in isolation. I couldn't work in an office just by myself.
Yeah.
tried it for a while when I was a new agent. I realized I could just do it from my house. So I took my little 2-room apartment and turned my second room into like my little office when I was newlywed, and had my printer, and I was going to sell there. And
No, you need
it's
noise. You need
terrible.
energy.
I just need life. Yeah. I just
yeah.
need life around me. And we'll see. We'll see if that changes one day. I always think about Brett Favre. You know, like Brett Favre was a guy that was in the spotlight forever. You know where he lives now? Out in the backwoods in Mississippi somewhere.
Does
you know
he
what I mean?
really?
Oh, he never pops his head out except for like the Super Bowl or something. He just wanted to get
He's
away.
doing a podcast now.
Is he doing a
Did you know-
podcast?
Yeah.
Probably from his basement.
And what's interesting is he gets incredible guests. You know, obviously athletes. And I think part of it is, I mean, not part of it, probably predominantly, it's because of who he is.
Sure.
His personality, Southern boy, you know, and just a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
It's interesting how. So with that, you know, you're in this now. We've talked about your legacy a little bit, or the idea of legacy, and when I'm ready to hang this up,
Yeah.
you know, what does that look like?
Well, in my mind, I would love that to be 2030. So 55 years old. I'd love that to be at the end of 2030. So I'm 55, 56, and so I could still go out and love life and do things with my wife. And
Kids will be young enough. Maybe they'll
they'll
start
be
having
out.
kids.
Kids will be out of the house by
Yeah.
then. You know, my youngest, I have twins, 14-year-old twin girls, and they'll be out by then. And how does that look? When I say out, I mean out of the presidential MGA role of running
Right.
an agency.
Right.
Because I'm not one. When you talk, going back to talking about Frank, one of the things that just would drive me nuts is towards the end, he was 67 when he retired. I just felt like he was more of the Wizard of Oz, the guy behind the curtain, but never got involved and never got into the trenches with
Right,
us.
right.
You know, I'm a trench guy.
Yeah.
I'm a trench guy. Like I'm in the trenches with these agents. You know, I write just as much, if not more, production than most everybody every year in my agency. Love to do that, and I get in there, and if an agent has a challenge, and I feel that it's a worthwhile battle with the insurance carrier, I'll get in there, and I'm a trench guy. I just don't know how long I don't know how long I'll be able to take that.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
At some point.
at some point, I'll be like,
Yeah.
I'm not having fun anymore. But
you'll-
as long as I'm having fun, I'm
you
going
will
to stay
know
at
when
it.
it is.
Yeah, I think so. And then after that, like, I'll come work for you. You know what I mean? Just coming in and doing
What was
individual stuff. I love that.
What was the law? Danielle was going to read that, and then we'll
Yes.
wrap
Is that
up.
official definition?
Yeah, let's
So,
read it for the
It's
audience
a
here.
philosophy that has a rule of thumb to eliminate or shave off unlikely expectations for a phenomenon and avoid unnecessary action. So basically, just keep things simple.
Yeah.
So
Is that what it says, though?
Yep.
So it's like eliminate the peripheral noise.
Yeah,
Keep
but there's
the main
actual
thing the main
like
thing.
what is
Avoid
some,
unnecessary or improbable assumptions.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot that goes into it. If there's a book written about this law,
I don't
and
even know there's a
this theory-
book.
Oh,
I
probably is.
I heard it one day on some news channel. Occam's razor says that the simplest, and So I looked up Occam's razor, and the definition I found, I just go to Google. Where'd you go? Google? Oh,
Yeah,
usually the simplest answer is the answer. Think about that, though. Isn't that true?
it is.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It is.
absolutely. Yeah, and you know what's interesting about that is when I reflect, me and my wife, we have this conversation probably once a year, where we look back on every major life decision that we've been faced with. Also, I would say typically, the harder route has turned out to
wrong.
always be
Hard as far as like,
not the easy solution, not the easy path.
Yeah.
You know, if given between two choices, well, this is the easy one: status quo, stay what we're doing, stay with the company, not move, do all these things. That's the easy route. The other one is take this opportunity or chance in life, which you think of a risk: new company, new job, new opportunity, new position, promotion, moving, whatever it may be. Right?
yeah.
In every instance, it's turned out to be the right one.
Yeah.
So, to your point, the Occam's law is saying, look, if propose two choices in life, make it very simple. Our founder, who you know, character Blair,
Yeah.
he was better than anybody I've ever met in taking the most complicated situation that you may think is super complicated, and he would say, Scotty, this is, or XYZ person, This is so simple. This is easy.
Yeah.
You're really down to this or this. You just need to pick which one.
That's the way my mind works.
Yeah.
That's it. And when I say simple, I don't mean easy.
No.
The
Simple is not
answers
easy.
I'm not saying when I say the simplest solution, that's not the easiest solution
No.
always.
100% no.
I'm just saying it's the most logical, like the simplest. The first thing that comes to your mind is usually
Yes.
I've
And
got
to
a
that
son
point, a
that's
lot-
wayward and making bad decisions. I got to spend more time. That's not going to be easy. You know what I mean? And I got,
Right.
but it's the simplest, most obvious
Yes.
answer. The
Yep.
most obvious answer is usually the answer.
Most people, I think, put those two words as synonymous together.
Yeah. I don't mean
Simple
that.
is not easy.
Yeah.
Simple and easy don't go together. I don't think they should. Just because something is simple does not at all mean that it's easy.
Yeah.
Our business is very simple.
Simple.
It's leads.
Simple. Call your
And-
leads.
right.
Set up an appointment.
Follow the process.
Follow the process.
But
So
nobody
simple.
ever
It's
said
not
it's easy. No.
It's not easy. Yeah, so when an agent comes to me and says, oh man, they didn't set very many appointments, the obvious and the absolute answer every time is you didn't make enough dials.
Right.
Period.
And did you or trying to get too
Period.
cute with the script?
Maybe,
I didn't
change
follow
it
the
all
script.
up. Didn't follow the script. I
Yeah.
left this part, I left that part out. Like when their closing ratios are less than what our office average is, they tweaked it. I just know it's so, simple.
It is simple.
Yeah,
Not easy. Thanks for coming in.
I loved it. That was quick.
It was quick. That was an hour.
That was an hour.
Yeah. Till next time.
Till next time, buddy.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Please subscribe, like, share, leave a comment, or review. Be sure to check us out on social media at Optimized Advisor Podcast. Till next time.